And it's already getting off to a really good start here with the grass carp at the Old Burg. Oh, and the little common carp are here too. Yes, we were already standing here in the last live stream and did a bit of a competition, and now I'm testing 3 different rig types, again, right here at this spot. Yes, the grass carp are biting quite well at the moment here at the Old Burg, and of course that has to be tested again. And especially when you're standing here with different rig types, it seems to work even better. Now, of course, the question for me is, which of the rig types is performing best? Oh, who do we have here? So, which rig type is delivering the biggest grass carp? Yeah, this one's pulling a bit on the drag. That's already a good sign. He's already putting up a fight. Drag even set to 20. That's not bad at all. Yes. So this one might actually be it. Still no trophy, but definitely the biggest one so far. We'll take a look at the bait combos in a minute. Feed mix, we'll also take a look. And of course, the different rig types. And yeah, the beeping continues back there. That's good. That's a good sign. Yeah, it's all happening right now on lemon. Up and down with the lemon. And as you might already see up there in the corner, I'm not just using lemon because you can also add some variation to the lemon combo. And I'm really curious to see how that gets picked up. A classic combo with lemon is also now and then the lime. But we'll take a closer look at that in a minute. With all the different rig types, man, oh man, this one still wants to fight. Not bad at all, but still not quite enough for a trophy. That would have to be quite a bit bigger. But I would take a trophy, and that would be the black carp. Finally, finish the black carp here. That would be the ultimate highlight at the Old Burg. After so many years of fishing grass carp here, again and again. Yes, regularly, right? Regular grass carp fishing at the Old Burg. There has to be a time when the black carp finally shows up. Always guide it well. Always keep walking with it. That's the be-all and end-all, especially when you're standing here with a smaller setup. What's the saying? At the Old Burg, you learn to walk. That's the classic saying. So as soon as you can fish at the Old Burg, you regularly already get the big grass carp on the line. And something like that, on a regular setup, a beginner setup, even with a Fortuna feeder and an HSV reel, something like that pulls you halfway around the lake because they're just that strong, right? So now feed goes down again, no PVA, cast it out again like always at this spot. How far? Zach, you probably know already, right? It's such a classic spot. It's already been featured like 20 times in videos. All right, come on in. And the next common carp. Okay. Also not bad. Yes, I'm doing my happy hour here. Just got started here at this spot. And it seems like it's off to a pretty good start. Not too bad at all. Of course, the evening hours are always important. I got here around 6 p.m., threw out the feed mix and so on, got started. This is how it looks now. 10 minutes at the spot and grass carp are here. Common carp are here. Yesterday, we also kept getting black carp showing up. And well, size-wise, totally okay. No massive ones, not many over 20 kilos in the tournament, but still, it was quite decent. Now, of course, the question is, do they keep showing up here again and again? And does it work here with this lemon combo on the black carp? Yeah, let's take a look at the bait combo. So on the first rod, we have the snowman rig. Why test different rigs? Because the rig types have different factors for the fish. Meaning a fish might bite way better on a snowman rig than on a pop-up. We have to test that, of course. And so we regularly try out different rig types, especially when we already know that a certain flavor works. And that with lemon is pretty clear right now from the latest records. There you often see a 26mm lemon boilie with a single corn. That's probably just the pop-up rig. But even there, you could bring in variation, like with the hinged rig or the shot rig. Like I said, in this case here, it's the snowman rig, which means we can use a pop-up boilie and a sinking boilie in combination. Sometimes there are variations that work really well. Now we just have to, now we just have to land this fish first and then we'll move on. I was just about to say, we can change that again later, but this one's working here on double 18mm boilies. And again, I actually have to turn the drag up a bit. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This one's looking really good. Although, oh no, I think I've got a smaller leader on here, only 31 kilograms, because I just had the zig rig on this one. Yeah, not that big after all, right? But still a nice fish. 16 kilos, that's decent. But I actually prefer the braided leader material here. And I also like to keep it relatively, short actually. Lately I've been using more of those 10 to 15 centimeter short leaders, which also increases frequency a bit. So, for high frequency, shorter leaders. But if you're targeting rare and big fish, then maybe go for longer leaders. Although I've almost completely stopped using 60 centimeter leaders for bottom fishing. Most of the time, I use something between 10 and 40 centimeter leaders. That usually works pretty well, so that you can really catch every fish that shows up, every fish that spawns. So, that's what we had here just now. That was the snowman rig with a size 1/0 hook. Here, of course, you could go larger again. But I'm not using particularly big baits at the moment, so the 1/0 hook actually fits quite well. Next setup, classic of course, pop-up rig. And that's the combo I already mentioned. In the records right now, it's the 26mm lemon boilie. That's the beast. You can do that of course, but the frequency will be terrible. You'll maybe catch 5 fish an hour if you're lucky. 5 fish where you can say, okay, decent size, maybe 2 or 3 small ones too. But that's not what you want either. Still, it's a totally classic combo if you also want some frequency. With an 18mm, it's totally fine. And even that can get you trophies. That's not rare at all. That normal size boilies still bring trophies. Yeah, and the third combo here, the classic hair rig. That's the one with the sinking boilies. And here I've got the combo of lemon and lime. And that lime-lemon combo is one that regularly works at Amber Lake. And in theory, if that's working right now at the Old Burg, you could easily go test that at Amber Lake as well with lemon, and also try it at Copper Lake with lemon and lime. And that's what I'll be testing in the coming days. And maybe there'll be another video from Amber Lake or Copper Lake with the exact same bait combo, because these flavors also sometimes work on different waters, or vice versa. So a flavor from Amber Lake fishing, for example, might also work at the Old Burg. That happens all the time. So it's definitely worth trying the other way around too. Yeah. Now we're into the night. At night there's sometimes a bit of a lull, although at night the black carp sometimes shows up. You have to test that too, of course. At the moment, I think the combo with the fresh lime, that's probably in the lead. So double sinking boilies, fresh lime and lemon 18, that one just delivered the heaviest grass carp. And maybe I'll test that again right now. Maybe switch the combo again. Let's see, do we have lime in the pop-up section too? Yeah, we do. That means we could also switch it up again, like with 1 lime boilie and 1 lemon corn. But also, of course, with boilie combo, lime and lemon. Let's go with 20mm lime and 18mm lemon. That's also, of course, an option, and I'll throw that out exactly the same way. So yeah, the nice citrus combination. And the third version is also lemon here. Lemon, that can of course be varied again, like for example, if we now use the lime again here on the pop-up, then we've got the slightly bigger pop-up, the smaller lemon on top, and that goes right back out to the 17-meter mark here. Of course, well-known distance, that's clear. And then you land exactly here. Dude! He knocks over my coffee first thing. Dude, my good coffee. Now quick, where am I here? Where was I again? Casting 17 meters out. Right, I think that's where I left off. Cast 17 meters out toward that edge, and usually that works out quite well. Otherwise, also try casting over here. So in this area, that's usually around 20 meters or 19, works quite nicely. And even here at the edge, that can also be a good cast spot again. So basically right in front of the island, that often works well too. Again, more around the 19-meter range. And like I said, here, where the eye is now, that's roughly the area for the current spot at 17 meters distance. Yeah, now we're heading into the early morning hours. That means it might start picking up again soon. And of course, now I'm hoping for even more big grass carp. Maybe the black carp will bite here too. I'll just let it sit here nicely, go a bit AFK on the side, and then let's see what happens. Get on the spot. Test, test, test. Don't forget. Leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and then I'll see you next time with a fresh coffee. Tight lines. See you next time.